I'm Josh Apple. I'm here with a pair of representatives from Westfield football. I'm here with head coach Kyle Simmons, as well as junior linebacker Kevin Petrillo. They're fresh off their big-time victory in the 6A state finals against Oscar Smith in Charlottesville at UVA. That was a 49-42 triple overtime victory to put them at 14-1 on the season and fourth in the Washington Met poll. So big-time stuff there. Coach, let's start with you. It was a triple overtime thriller. So what were your emotions? What were you thinking late in the game in the fourth quarter and throughout those overtime sessions?
Well, in the second half, there were times where I felt like it was slipping away. We were making some mistakes, and I was telling myself on the sidelines, we're screwing this up. This is going to get away from us. And every time I felt like that, we'd do something on the positive side that would either keep us in the game or get us a little cushion. And so I was disappointed we had to go into overtime to win the game. I think that it shouldn't have gotten to that, but once we got there, then we had to continue to make plays, and that's what we did to win the ball game.
Yeah, some late turnovers by you guys, but you got it done with a stop there in the third overtime.
By this guy right here?
By that guy right there, we'll talk about in a moment. But for you, Coach, first reaction, you just won your first state championship. That moment, what were you thinking?
I gotta be honest with you, it was relief. It was relief for, 5 seasons of ending in disappointment. It was a relief from the standpoint that, like I said, I felt like the game was slipping away from us and we were making some crucial errors. And it was relief for everybody involved in the sense of all the hard work, all the hours, the commitment from the coaching staff and the support staff that we were going to bring that trophy home and being very proud about that also.
And Kevin, like Coach mentioned, that stop, because of you made great stops throughout the game, but that moment, game just went final, you made that stop, you guys are celebrating on the field. How exciting was that for you?
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was just an unbelievable feeling to finally get it done. We've been out here for 20 weeks, 4 months, something like that, I don't even know. And to finally have that sense of relief like Coach was talking about, it's an awesome feeling. I'm just so happy we got it done.
And was that feeling made any better by how well you played, getting a pair of interceptions in that game?
I don't think it really is about me. I mean, I did what I have to do to get the win. And so, of course, I'm going to be happy about that, but it didn't make it feel that much better that I played that well.
And not only did here you see the stop and the celebration. I mean, that just looks so much fun.
That is so awesome to be in person, to see your football family celebrating like that. It's an awesome feeling.
Really neat to see there. And it wasn't just in that game, Kevin, that you had some special moments. 6 interceptions in the playoffs alone. Talk about that. What allowed you to play so well?
I think everything just finally clicked for me. I mean, I wasn't known for my pass coverage throughout the season. I was more of a run, middle linebacker type. But Coach Everett asked me to do some different things. We were playing some more teams that were passing the ball a little bit more. So I just studied a lot of film and got myself in the best shape that I could make those plays, and ended up working out for me.
Man, that celebration just keeps on going, doesn't it? It looks exciting. Coach, I know you pride yourself on defense. Talk about how big Kevin's been down the stretch this year.
Well, Kevin is, as I spoke in the post interview, he's a very cerebral player. So you take that on top of his athleticism, the film work he does, and the film work that the defensive coaching staff and Rob Everett and those guys put together to try to put these guys in the best possible positions. But they can only do so much. The kids have to take it seriously. They have to put the work study in. They have to be coachable, and they're the ones that have to buy in and execute. And that's what Kevin does. And it helps pay off on the field for him to play better than he is as an athlete because he uses his mind so well.
Coach, this one goes to you as well. You guys overcame a lot. First of all, injuries. You lost Jack Clancy, a senior leader on defense. Talk about how the defense continued to play well even in his absence.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. And not only did we lose Jack on the defensive side of the ball, but he was playing quite a bit of offense for us at tight end and fullback. So it was a huge loss, and I think that it speaks well to our team and their ability to overcome the adversity and to not let things get them down. I mean, there are a lot of things that happened to us where we could have kind of thrown in the towel and said, this just isn't our year. But the coaches didn't do that, the players didn't do that. I think it made us stronger in the end, and it was an impressive showing by these guys.
And here you see the highlights from the game against South County. That was the first time you guys had won that game after losing 4 consecutive times in the regional final, so a big-time win there. And Kevin, going back to what we were just talking about, same question to you. How did your role change once Shaq went out?
I had to kind of step up, be a little bit more of a vocal leader. Before, I could kind of just do my own thing, let Jack take care of everybody else, just focus on my play. I didn't have to focus on what everyone else was doing. But now, Jack's gone. Now I have to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page, have that sense of communication with the secondary and with the D-line, and make sure everyone's doing their job and not just me.
And not only injuries, you had to overcome some early suspensions. I was at the game against South County early in the season when you guys had some players out, and that perhaps cost you that game. So talk about, Coach, what you were thinking at that point in the season, and if you thought at that time that this was a possibility.
Yeah, I got a phone call on Sunday of Labor Day to tell me that there might have been some issues with some of our players over the weekend, and I can't tell you how devastated I was over those next couple weeks. Just, I felt let down. I felt that, everything that we were aspiring to accomplish was lost, and it was difficult. It was difficult on the coaching staff. It was obviously difficult on the field on Friday nights. But I think, we showed that we could play with a team like South County, even without those players. And without those players, other people got opportunities, other people got reps in practice and playing time in games, which added to our depth come down the stretch.
And Kevin, similar question to you. At what point did you think that this was a possibility to win a state championship after all that you guys had to endure this year?
I think coming out of our 3-week plan, that once we got all our guys back and we'd only lost 1 game, we're like, all right, now everyone's coming back. We're going to be that much better. Who's going to stop us now? And no one did. And we just kept getting better and better, improving every single week. And I think as soon as we got them back, I realized we could get it done.
And having watched them play a lot this year, they truly did improve throughout the season. From what you saw early to what you saw late in the season, it was like a different team. So impressive stuff there. And Coach, some personal stuff for you. You found out you had throat cancer back in 2014. Talk about how that changed your perspective and your approach to coaching.
Well, it made me appreciate my health a lot more. I try to take care of myself a lot better now than I did prior to that diagnosis. It was a battle to experience that throughout the season and try to continue to coach and be a part of what we were doing. But I also feel like it gives me a different perspective in the sense that, I know what it feels like to be unhealthy, to feel bad, to feel old, to not be able to do things. And so I'm appreciative of the fact that I'm not going to be here forever, and that there are a lot of things in life that are important other than, working or coaching. And so I just think I look at things with that perspective of calm and, everything's going to be okay. Things could be worse because they really can be worse. And I'm happy to be alive.
The last somewhat tragic thing I guess I'll bring up before we return to the excitement of having just won a state championship is the passing of Connor Bodhran. He was a kicker for you guys, just graduated in 2015. Really good athlete on the field, but a sudden passing, really tragic, that occurred on November 24th. And for you, Kevin, how did that affect the team, and how did that maybe bring you guys together?
Just that day was terrible. I didn't know how I was going to go to football practice later that day, but I did. And everyone kind of had the same feeling, and it really did bring us together that, all right, now we kind of have something to play for. We have a purpose. We're playing for Mr. and Mrs. Bodhran, and we want to get this job done for them. And so that focus that week was just unbelievable. It was crazy how focused we were. And it showed on the field. I mean, a 40-8 win against the #1 team in the state at that time. I think it just shows.
Yeah, I can hear the emotion in your voice. I can tell it really affected you. And Coach, same thing to you. I mean, when your players to lose them suddenly like that, how was that for you?
It was really going to practice that day. You didn't quite know what to expect, what the players were going to be able to handle. You're dealing with your own personal grief. You're thinking about the family, and then you're thinking about your players and whether they're going to be able to prepare for the next contest. And I think one of the best things that occurred in those first couple days is the Bodhran sent word to me through someone else that it would be really comforting for them if we just continued to prepare to beat the next opponent. And that's what they wanted most from our football team. When I asked them, what can we do for you? The message was, prepare to win the next football game, and that would make Connor very happy. And so that's something that they allowed the team to do in their time of grief, which I was very humbled by.
And I remember seeing signs supporting Connor during the Lake Braddock game, and I know you dedicated that game to him, so it's good movement there in a really tough situation for you guys, but you guys overcame it. And I spoke to Ramon Johnson, the quarterback for you guys, in the week leading up to the state championship, interviewing him for another story, and he said that you guys really came together as a family this year, that you guys say family at practice, and that through all these things that happened, that you guys really were a family. So Kevin, first to you, talk about how you feel about the team and whether it felt like a family.
It did. I mean, we've been saying it for years now, but at the beginning of the season, it really doesn't mean as much as it does at the end of the season. At the beginning, we have a shared goal and everything, but we haven't put that time in together yet, and we haven't built those relationships yet. It's a new team every single year. I mean, we have some new players. We have the same old players, but we got just completely different feel. And throughout the season, as we say it more and more, it really does start to mean something.
So despite all these things that happened, you guys are state championship winners, against a powerhouse program like Oscar Smith. So pretty impressive stuff there. And Coach, you've now won your first state championship. Just reflect on what that means to you in your career.
Well, I was here for the win in 2003 as a position coach, and then again in 2007 I was the defensive coordinator. So my next goal was I wanted to win one as a head coach. So it's very satisfying to accomplish that goal, and especially in a year when there were probably a lot of times where I didn't think it was possible. And the season has taught me a lot about myself, and it's taught me a lot about a team and the game of football.
So 3 state championships now for Westfield, and all part of the Kyle Simmons era in a way. So Kevin, we're talking a lot about football, but you're pretty good at another sport. You're committed to play lacrosse at Georgetown. You're just a junior, so you have some time before you go to Georgetown, but any thought about changing your mind and playing some football?
No really thought. I mean, lacrosse has been my favorite sport for a really long time now. I just love the game so much. Football's, I played it just as long, but I think lacrosse is what I want to do, and that's what I made my mind up, and I'm sticking with it.
And I noticed you're wearing a hand brace. Can you tell us what happened with your injury there?
Yes, sir. In the Robinson game 9 weeks ago, I tore a ligament in my thumb, and I've been playing with a cast. I got a brace on it now, but I had a cast on it and just wrapped it up and just kept playing.
6 interceptions in the playoff, 2 in the championship game, and he's injured. Not too bad. Coach, where do you go from here? You just won your first championship as a head coach. How much time do you take off before you start getting back into football?
Yeah, I think it's a time for appreciation. Appreciate my family and the sacrifices they made, and appreciation to my coaching staff who, we could not have accomplished this without the hard work of those people and the support staff. We have a lot of people in the community and at school who support us and understand the impact that football can have on not only the players but the school atmosphere and the community. So it's going to be a time of appreciation, smiling, being happy, resting, getting healthy, and sometime late January we'll start getting the weight room open for the young kids. Fortunately, our older kids are in weight training as a class during the school day, so I don't have to be as concerned about getting them up to speed. But we're going to take some time to enjoy this. 20 weeks is a long time, and you better go into it rested and ready to go, or it's going to eat you up.
Great time to have some time off now entering the holiday season, but they'll return to action next year, getting ready to repeat as state champions. And Kevin, same question to you. What are your movements from here when you start getting into the lacrosse stuff?
Already started green days and conditioning. I mean, from here on out, I don't play a winter sport. It's just lacrosse from here until football starts up on August 1st or whatever it is.
Okay, great. So you have a big time season coming up as well, going into lacrosse in the spring. Well, that was Kevin Petrillo, the junior linebacker, along with Kyle Simmons, the head coach of the Westfield Bulldogs, the state champion Westfield Bulldogs, coming off their big time win against Oscar Smith. Thank you guys for joining us, and good luck next season as you try to repeat.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.